Scriptblocks here. Today we're going to recreate the Stardew Valley Cave system using an image and a tile map. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Let's get started. Start off, we have 4 scenes. This one is a node 2D. This one is also a node 2D. The player is a kinematic body 2D, and the item is a static body 2D. And in the project, we're going to set the width and height of the screen. So we'll find the window. We'll set the width to 512, height to 512, and we'll also set the test width to 512 and height to 512. And since we're doing pixels, we're going to do stretch mode to 2D. And then for our player to move up, down, left, right, we're going to add the binding to up, down, left, right, and the keys W, A, S, and D. So we'll add left, we'll add up, down, and then we'll bind the keys. So right, we're going to do D, left A, up, W, and this should have been S, but I accidentally hit D. And I'll change that later. And we'll just set our main as our main scene. Launch it. We see that it comes up with nothing on it. Okay. Okay, now we're going to set up our item, which in this case is going to be a rock. So we're going to add a sprite to the item scene. And we're going to add a collision shape 2D to the item scene. And for the sprite, we're going to drag over our atlas here. And we're going to turn on the region. And we're going down to texture region. And it's already zoomed in because I did it before, but I'll go ahead and select it again. So just move the region around the rock here. Okay. And I like to do the image first and then the collision shape second, just so I know the size of it. So we'll do a rectangle here, and then we'll move it down to the size of the image. Okay, and the player, first thing we need to do is add a sprite, and then we need to add a collision shape 2D as well. And for the sprite, we're going to use a sprite sheet that we have, but we're only going to use 1 frame of it. So it's a 4x4, so we're going to change the animation from 4 frames and vertical frames 4, and that way we get to 1 frame. And we want the collision shape to also be a 2D rectangle. And we're just going to put the collision shape around his feet. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to move mode here and move him up to the bottom of the collision shape, and then bring the collision shape down. This way he can kind of walk near the walls, but his feet can't walk through them. So we just want to cover half of his body with the collision shape. Okay, we're going to make a script, and this script is just copied from the Godot documentation on movement. So it's basically going to, and I'll explain a little bit. Basically, we're going to have an export variable. We can set up how fast the player moves. We're going to have velocity that keeps track, and then if they push left, right, up, and down, then we're going to change the velocity, and then we're going to call move and slide. Okay, let's set up the cave. So the first thing we need to add is a tile map. So we add a tile map to it, and then we're going to make a new tile set. And then we're going to drag our atlas into it. And we're just going to pick 3 of the boxes. So we'll go ahead and say new single tile. And we want to pick the black box here. And then we're gonna change the name of the tile to black. And then we're gonna make sure the steps are 16 by 16, so you can, on the grid setup there where it snaps to, that's what that 16 by 16 is. So that little black box is 16 by 16, and so is the little purple squares. And so we don't want the user or the player to go through the box, so we're gonna add a collision shape to it. And then we'll add another tile. And this one is the floor. And so we'll change the name to floor here. And the player can walk through it, so we don't need a collision on this one. And we'll add a new tile, and this will be the wall. So we'll change the name to wall. And it does need a collision shape because we don't want the player to be able to walk through it. So we click on there. Now it has a collision shape. Okay. And we'll go back to the tile map here. And we can see we have a black, a floor, and a wall as our tiles there. And nothing's on the screen because we're going to programmatically bring it in when the game starts up. All right, let's go over the script now. So first we have a export variable, which lets you define a string that holds where the image is. That's going to be your cave. So in this case, I have a face cave, I have a heart cave, and a thumbs up cave. And wherever the green is, we're going to put floor. Wherever the blue is, wall, and wherever the red is, we're going to put black. So you can just copy that path over there. And this is going to be the default value, but when we add it to our main scene, we can change it. And if it helps you, you can copy the path from there and paste it in there just so you know you have the right path. And then you have a tile map set up, and then ready calls a load image. And load image does the tile set. And it starts a new variable file, and it starts a new variable image. And we're going to open up the file. And in this case, we're going to open up that string that we passed in. And then we're going to load that into an image buffer so we can read the file. And then you have to add this file close and image lock to close the file and then to lock the image so it doesn't change, I believe. And then we're going to have a color variable, which is going to hold a variable at each pixel. And then we're going to have an XY for loops to get the height and the width of the image. So in this case, it's 32 by 32, so it'll run 32x, 32y. And then we're going to get the pixel. I added a subtracted 1 because I think it goes by 1 instead of 0, but the array doesn't. If the color for green equals 1, then we're going to set the tile at the XY location to be floor. That's the name of the tile we called it. And then if the color of blue is 1, we're going to set the tile to wall. And then every other case will be black. So let me go ahead and add the cave to the main scene. Okay, and run it. And it's a little bit messed up because it looks like it's 64 by 64 instead of 16 by 16. So we can go fix that. So we go back to the cave scene, the tile map. We look at the cell. Yeah, sure enough, it's 64. So we need to change that to 16 by 16 to match our tile size. Then we can save it again and run. And now we see it pulls in the file and it shows a little happy face. All right, so now I'm going to make the test scene a little bit bigger, so when it comes up, it'll be twice as big as before, so we can see our image a little bit better. Now when it comes up, you can see, so the walls are where the colors were, and then where the red was is where the black is. And now that we've associated that export variable, we can drag in a different image, in this case the heart cave. We load that one up, and then the cave turns into the heart. And here's a shameless plug for hitting the like button, but you can copy the thumbs up cave in there, and it comes up as a cave with the thumbs up symbol. All right, let's put it back to face. All right, so now let's add the player to the scene. Okay, and let's add a couple rocks to the scene. Okay, and we'll move the player to the center of the screen so he can be inside the map and not in the wall. And the same thing for the rocks. All right, and there he is. Now he can walk around, and the rocks have a collision so you can't hit him. The floor doesn't have any collisions so you can walk through those, but the walls and the black do have collisions so you can't walk past those. Hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe.